Hello, everybody. Aaron here, and welcome to the first of 6 Collins reports. Due to the script of the first one being insanely long, my original plan to have all 6 of these uploaded on Sunday, April 29th, I think is going to be impossible. I'll try to get up as many as I can, but you're probably going to have parts coming out in the early to middle parts of this week. So with that all said, I'm going to actually bow my head and give 10 seconds of silence to the victims of the Ryder Van Toronto terrorist attack, well, massacre, whichever you want to call it, that happened a few days ago. So, just bear with me, guys. Okay, actually, I'll be right back. I'm gonna turn a light on. Okay, much better. No editing software for me. So yeah, the first part of if you didn't see the Facebook post almost 2 weeks ago now, this is just gonna focus on Saturday, April 14th, which is the first of 2 days of my birthday party itself. Now I'll get the script. And away we go. I woke up relatively early on Saturday morning, which was supposed to be by design. I did actually set an alarm on my tablet, but I actually woke up 10 minutes before that. And I woke up to basically what was the sound of either ice, hail, freezing rain, or some sort of combination of the three hitting my window, and I immediately went, Alan, the owner of Salad King's warnings regarding the ice storm were true, and let the symphony of dropouts that are weather-related begin. I turned my phone on. Before I even get any social media notifications, I actually got a text from my mom saying, yeah, I don't expect Craft Lady Kate to show up today. I texted her right back, that's the part of my friend's life that you remember? I was teasing, and it was probably very insensitive of me. I was making light of the fact that my mother had an aneurysm in 2003 and has had at least 2 strokes that we know of. So I then go to the social media posts, and basically within an hour of each other, James, Lisa, Kate, and Elsa all drop out. I think Elsa was last because she was actually about a quarter of the way from Caledon to Toronto and was almost in the ditch twice, and then just said screw it, turned around and went back. And Elsa was actually expecting me basically to terminate the friendship right then and there, and I said, no, let me clarify something of a misnomer that has happened in years past. If you have no excuse for missing my birthday at all when you said you're coming, then you're out. If you have a very, very, very bad excuse, as one of my ex-girlfriends in 2010, whose name does not deserve to be mentioned, found out, then you're fine. If you have an extremely understandable reason, cool. I'm good with that. I knew when I woke up that the weather was going to be bad. I'm going to lose a few of you. I was still okay in the pirate room at 7 people, but with James and Lisa backing out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre room, I was at the minimum. So that was kind of the start of my panic. After getting showered and dressed and all that jazz, I walked north about 6 blocks from my house to Popeye Supplements and to see Jay, and not only can I not thank him and Kira enough for basically the last 18 months, frankly, the entire Aaronverse can't. Like, those two between them literally are the reason there even was a 35th birthday. Well, and a 34th for that matter, even though that was still kind of in the planning stages. And even if you don't believe me on that, they were also the reason why I was better these last two than I probably have been ever. And I'm counting Canadian scouting in that. So after my cameo at Popeyes, I realize Damon, I love the guy, but he's probably going to oversleep unless I pick his ass up. Swearing ahoy, ladies and gentlemen. He actually lives only a few blocks away from my roommate Doug and I, so I just called him up and said, "Are you ready?" And he woke up, and he's like, "Yeah, and the time it'll take me to shower, you should be relatively close to my house." Okay, and I did. I walked slowly. I waited about 5 or 10 minutes after that, and yeah, he guided me to his house. He puts on his shoes, fed the cat, did one or two other things, and then we go to the Go bus stop that's nearest our house. And with the ice storm being what it was, I was worried I may be late for my own party. But Damon and I really lucked out because the weather actually kind of played in our favor because there was fewer people getting into Toronto at that point. So we actually made an insanely good amount of time. But then we realized that Mike Lalone, who's a coworker of mine, albeit on a different shift on my second job, beat us there, and Damon and I got out one subway stop too late, which really, with Toronto's subway system being what it is, I mean, it's not that bad. It added maybe an extra 5 or 10 minutes to the walk. Gosh golly darn. Would have been better to walk in nicer weather, but it is what it is. We get there. The gate for the mystery room, it's a 2-location facility in case you haven't seen my previous videos or in case I haven't mentioned it. And the facility that we were going into was not only locked, but there was a gate and a chain. The girl who actually took my booking everything came over and said, "You guys can wait inside across the street if you'd like." So we we took her up on the offer, but it made Doug's and Samantha's arrival a bit awkward. But everything worked out there. But then I started panicking because Justin and Janine were having issues getting here that were rather related. And I understood completely, but the brain stress level was pretty high. It was, however, juxtaposed by the irony of my being sober for over 11 years, and being contrasted with the amount of pot being smoked around me by other people on the team. That was surreal, to say the least. While I'm waiting for Justin and Janine, and buying them as much time as possible before we have to start the room without them, Sarah calls. Her and David are now 50-50 for Texas Chainsaw Massacre because of the weather. So, I understood then, I still do now, but I'm glad I used poker money that I won in a 10-game mix the night before. I'm glad I used some of that to basically go, to those of you who are staying for Salad King from the first room, congratulations, your second room is on me. Justin and Janine did arrive on time, but it was really touch and go. I think it was like, if they'd been like 90 seconds to 2 minutes later, we would have had to have started the room without them. That being said, guys, Justin, Janine, A, thank you for coming, and B, thank you for getting there safely. That's the most important thing. So, 7 people all together in the pirate room. We didn't get out. And out of respect to the establishment, I will not spoil anything regarding how to solve anything, but here are the hit, shit, split. The hit... There was actually a slide at some point in the escape room. That was just like 10 seconds of just random humor while inside a very seriously themed pirate escape room. The shit, I'm not going to go into too many details out of respect to the code of honor between the escape rooms and the customers, but that last puzzle floored all of us, and I have no shame in admitting that. The split, I accidentally solved a puzzle, then passed a room 15 seconds later while circumventing a couple of the other puzzles inside the room. I'm still trying to figure that one out. So, unlike Perplexity, who just walk us through what we didn't get to, they'll actually give us like one insanely easy pity hint on top of the two we were given in a 60-minute time limit room. And that basically got us through the rest. So we were mercifully let out, but after the time had expired, so it's still a failed room. Two things that doesn't... two house rules that don't really spoil anything that I actually like. One, the size of the walkie-talkies or cordless phones. I like that it's more streamlined than Perplexity and it's easier to carry. Perplexity used conventional CB radios, which are a bit bulky. And secondly, with a hint given, 30 seconds is put back on the clock because that's about how much time the hint takes to give. And if it's just basic direction, without actually spoiling anything, then it doesn't actually count as a hint. More on that later. So a few picks and goodbyes to Justin Janine and Mike Lalone, and bringing in Sarah, her partner David, and my friend Mike Fitch, who I'm also glad arrived safely. It became 7 people for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre room, and we got out of that one with about 5 minutes and 42 seconds left on the clock. And at this time, I'd like to apologize for Dave Ramkinsoon. Sorry if I mispronounced the name. For shoving him out of the way to put in the last combination that got us out. Sorry about that, David, really. But I was just like, yes, I have it. We're going to get out of this. Hit, shit, and split. The hit, I tried a combination on one of the locks that Damon had already put in. It didn't work for him, and it worked for me. I'm actually glad that I had the foresight to just check a solution again, because sometimes the right solutions don't mean the lock automatically comes and you have to kind of fiddle with the lock. The shit. There are parts of the room where there is audio constantly playing. That got a bit annoying. I understand why they did it, but yeah. Split. I won't go into details as to which one it is, because that would spoil it, but one puzzle was actually broken from something that happened the night before. The owner thought he fixed it. He didn't. He owned up and said we were completely in the right in our solution. And what he basically did was he auto-triggered the door that was supposed to trigger. And apologized profusely. We forgave him. And that was that. And I'm actually appreciative of the fact that the staff admitted to that, because there have been facilities in my past where there was like, no, you're the right solution, but it doesn't work and we're not admitting any wrongdoing. Really? Page 3, guys. I actually got through the first 2 pages relatively quickly. Mike Fitch bows out, which kind of shocked me because he's been to Salad King before, but I understood completely. A couple picks. Off we go to Salad King. It was myself, Damon, Doug, and Samantha. Sarah and David elected to go by car. I had called Salad King while we were at the facility to talk to Kelly, the assistant manager, I think is her job title, who's also a friend of mine, and I went, yeah, we're 6 for Salad King. You've got 20 minutes. And she was like, yeah, we'll have a table reserved for you when you get here. Thanks, Kelly. Sarah and David obviously beat us there because they had the car. We had 2 servers, I think, working for us, which was insane. Then Kelly comes out, gives me my hug, and introduces herself to people. She'd seen Doug before, but she had never met Samantha, Damon, David, or Sarah. And she then announced that Alan, the owner, was giving us spring rolls, cucumber salad, and mango salad before our orders were taken. I nearly cried right then and there, because Like, when they brought everything out, it was like a dozen spring rolls, and normally it's like, when you order spring rolls off the menu, you only get 3, and we had like 12. And there was like a giant cucumber salad this big with a little bit of shrimp and fish oil in it, and then there was a mango salad, same size, but that was completely vegan. I never had those before. I seen them on the menu, I just never got around to trying them. I tried them, very impressed. The spring rolls, they're the best spring rolls I've ever had. I'll put them up a pound for pound against Mandarin, and they'll win. Fight me if you disagree. So highlights for me at Salad King on the Saturday were Damon admitting that 10 chilies was too much for him. I only go as high as 5, and I've eaten ghost peppers and Carolina Reapers and Aruga Scorpions. Doug probably being more outgoing than I've ever seen him, and Samantha probably having more enthusiasm about next year than me, despite the fact that while I have rectified this mistake on my part, Samantha is actually in the Aaronverse record books for being a +1 to 2 different people. That's never happened before. And she was definitely more talkative with me this time than she was at Jack's Backyard in 2011. Yeah, 2011. So, yeah, I've rectified the mistake of not adding her several years ago right away. Samantha, welcome to the Aaronverse. So after Salad King, Sarah, David, and I have an interesting journey to International Sports Bar and Eatery for poker. I have a lot of things to say about poker, but they'll be in part 3, and first will be part 2, which is the next video, which will detail the Sunday. So until the next video, I'm Aaron, and unlike Storage Wars, my show's scripted. Thanks a lot.